like from your first game back?
Yeah, all healthy at the moment. It was good to be back out there on the weekend. I missed a couple of weeks with a knee issue, and we had a good group of 4 or 5 inclusions on the weekend. And it's never a good time to get an injury, but nothing major, and I feel pretty confident for the rest of the year.
Does it give you the feeling that maybe it could be a little freshen up to now come back and attack it really hard for the rest of the season?
Yeah, in a way, I guess. We were able to, with my knee, it just was agility that I couldn't do for a week or two there, so I was still able to run a lot and train sort of modified in a way, so it didn't feel like I lost any fitness. And I guess you have 2 weeks where you don't get battered and bruised, so time will tell if it's a good thing in the long term. But we've got a really good fitness staff and rehab group at the club, and you're just really confident they get you back at the right time and in good shape.
The touch seemed to be pretty good straight off the bat. Were you pleasantly surprised with how that sort of came together?
Probably ran out of legs, Benny, towards the end, but I was happy with how I sort of came back into the side. I just wanted to literally just do the team things and play as well as I could for the team. And if we've got 22 guys doing that, we're generally a pretty good side and hard to beat. And the boys were hurting a bit after the Adelaide loss in Darwin, so you could sort of sense that all week. So I think having 5 inclusions for the Port game sort of just sort of naturally lifted the boys, I think, in a way. And we executed pretty well on Saturday.
Are you wary of like second performance back? Sometimes it's harder, sort of rather than the first time, just to really lift and sort of continue on that in that fashion.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. It's I'm hoping I only really missed 2 weeks, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I don't think I've lost too much fitness, but you do get yourself in. Yeah, you sort of the build up for your first game back is always it takes a bit sort of mental energy out of you. So whether that drains you for the next week, I'm not too sure. But I feel good early this week, so there should be no reason why I can't produce a consistent performance on the weekend.
The performance in the middle with the contested ball and everything was really impressive. But obviously, you yourself and Jack coming back from injury, and Max still getting back to his best. Do you sort of feel like you've got another level you can go to as a midfield group?
Yeah, we've got depth through there at the moment. Petraka and Mitchie Hannon are going through there. Alex Neil-Bullen at times. James Harm. So that's all those boys are under 22, 23 years of age, and they're showing plenty of good signs. So we've got Nathan Jones coming back hopefully in the next fortnight, and Maxi's just been getting better and better every week. Obviously, he's had a little ankle issue on the weekend, which isn't ideal, but what he provides for us is really good. And Tommy Max giving us some really good efforts as a second ruck, and Watsy coming back in can play that role as well. So good flexibility for us, and obviously having Jack back is just a massive lift. He's our captain for a reason, and you certainly just sort of walk a bit taller when he's out next year.
How is Nathan Jones tracking? Is he a chance to play this week?
I'm not too sure. I think it's more likely the week after, but he's looking good. Like, it's just the fact, I think it's on his kicking leg where he had that strain through his thigh, so I think that's the last few things he's got to tick off is just penetration through his kicking leg. But I'm not too sure if I'm not a physio. I'm not too sure where he's at in terms of speed and everything like that. But he's looking really good out on the track, and when he is back, he'll be in a really good spot.
And what about Max? Do you think he could still play this week despite that sore ankle?
I think we know more by sort of Thursday, which is our main training session. But he's getting better every day since the game, and obviously a bit of swelling, and it's a rolled ankle. So I'm not too sure right now.
North's built a bit of a fortress down in Tassie. Do you have to adjust your preparations at all to counter that?
We haven't really spoken about how we'll attack North just yet, but I know from playing down in Hobart last year, it was really high scoring. There was a strong wind, so there was a scoring end, and whether that changes your tactics on game day probably does a little bit with how you play, and whether you have a spare behind the ball against the wind, or whether you try and use your numbers around the contest, or you just get it going forward with the wind. There's little things that you can adjust for sure, but North touched us up earlier this year, and they seem to have our measure at the moment, but we feel like we're in a good spot, in some decent form, albeit a little bit inconsistent still. So already getting excited for this week's contest.
I think it's 16 matches, is it? I mean, you've ticked a few hoodoos off this year.
Yeah.
Is there some determination there to cross off another one?
Oh, look, there is, but it's not really spoken about. You want to win every week, obviously, and North are a dangerous side. Their best footy this year. They've come close to knocking off some good sides and had some good wins still. So we certainly don't want to underestimate them at all. And we're still a side where we've come after a good win. We haven't really performed at our best the next week, so we're still, really motivated to perform this week for sure. So yeah, we'll train well, prepare well, get down to Hobart, and yeah, hopefully produce a good effort.
It was a pretty spiteful clash early in the year. Do you expect more of the same this week?
I can't actually remember much of the spite early. I'm not too sure. I don't know if there's anything in the games, but generally in a close game. That was at the G early in the season, so there still is plenty to play for. Yeah, it's always a hot contest against them.
You've got 5 games to go. You probably need 2 more wins to make the finals. Can you sense that it's getting close now? You're almost there.
1 week. I guess in the back of your mind, you start thinking about it. Like, I'm excited. I haven't played a finals game yet. I'm in my 6th or 7th season, so there's that little bit in the back of your mind. But it's just such an even comp. The minute you look too far ahead, you do get stung on the weekend. And 1 week you're nearly in the 4, the next week you're nearly out of the 8. So you just honestly cannot look too far ahead.
And with the injury challenges you've had to deal with, it seems like everyone's sort of starting to get back now. So potentially building towards your strongest team at exactly the right time.
Yeah, it's exciting because we've had some good depth and some guys come in and play some good footy, because I think we're building a real solid VFL sort of setup there where they're playing a really good brand of footy. You're confident if someone goes out, someone else can come in and fill a pretty good role for you. But obviously Nathan's massive for us. Bernie Vince after his suspensions. Guys that have just come back in will get better for the run too. So yeah, we're in a pretty good spot. It's just yeah, you just can't take your foot off the pedal obviously at all.
Angus Rachel's obviously come back into VFL. Do you think that he's still a chance to play some senior footy the rest of this year?
Yeah, he looked pretty good on the weekend at VFL level, and he's been training really well for probably 3 or 4 weeks now. It's just, I guess, his confidence. But yeah, I guess it's probably up to him in a way, how fast and how quick he wants to push himself and how much game time he thinks he needs down at Casey, and maybe obviously form's dependent as well. But yeah, I'd say there's no reason why he can't play some senior footy later this year.
Getting out of the golf course a little bit lately, mate. How's the golf air range going?
Yeah, not too bad, Benny. Thanks for asking. No, not too bad. It's a bit of fun at the moment. Yeah, just jump online, guys.